Utah has soaring rates of domestic violence against women, but there's a problem here with male victims too.
Yeah, according to the Domestic Violence Coalition, 1 in 4 men here in the state have experienced intimate partner abuse, yet there is a huge discrepancy between resources available for men and the resources available for women.
2 News Investigates Darby Sparks spoke with someone who wants to change that.
3 years ago, Josh Murray experienced a horrifying incident of abuse that left him homeless and without any help. He says he now wants to build his own shelter that will cater specifically to men who are the victims of domestic violence, so no one will have to experience what he went through.
This is the door after they kicked it in.
On July 12, 2019, Josh Murray went through his worst nightmare when his partner attacked him by choking him and using a knife.
The next thing I knew, I was pinned in the arm of the couch. She had her hands around my neck, choking me, and just with all my strength, just kick her as hard as I could off of me, and ended up backing myself into a corner in the kitchen. And when she came in, I glanced over and went, knife.
Did you feel like she could have seriously hurt you that night?
Oh yeah. 27 minutes of hell I went with that woman before police showed up.
But his nightmare didn't end there. Because of the damage from the incident, Murray says he was evicted from his apartment.
I don't know whether it was they felt that they didn't need to follow the federal domestic violence law.
The Violence Against Women's Act states that landlords who oversee subsidized housing can't legally evict someone who's fallen victim to domestic violence. Murray was living in a subsidized housing project at the time of his incident, but even the law has the term women in it, and Murray is a man.
I was either laughed at or told I was weak. You know, men are always the aggressors, not the women.
After he was evicted, Murray says he became homeless. He tried to take refuge at local co-ed domestic violence shelters, but they couldn't take him in due to space, which is why he made it his purpose to open a domestic violence shelter in Utah that caters specifically to men.
Women victims and male victims shouldn't be housed together. They should be housed separately.
But he's hit roadblocks, he says, when it comes to setting the shelter up, including not being listened to by politicians because of the stigma.
I kind of feel like it's a losing battle.
The stigma definitely is that men are more likely to be a perpetrator than they are a victim.
Kristen Floyd, the executive director of Safe Harbor, which hosts a co-ed domestic violence shelter, says they've recently taken out any gender-based terms from their name in practice because of the notion it gives that women are the only victims.
But I have found that we are seeing more and more male victims coming in through our shelter or our other programs.
But she says there's a long way to go in terms of finding equal footing for male victims.
I think we could do better as a state for resources for men, yes.
And as far as an all-male shelter, Floyd says she wonders if the numbers are high enough.
I don't know if an all-male shelter would fill to capacity and have the best use of space, but on the other hand, maybe men would come forward more frequently.
Murray has set up a Facebook page for his prospective shelter, the Utah Bunker House, in hopes that one day it'll become the real deal. He continues to advocate and tell his story to anyone who will listen in the meantime.
Domestic violence isn't just a woman's issue.
Murray told 2 News that he ended up marrying the woman who assaulted him, and he adds that he advocates for aggressors getting the help they need in order to fix issues of abuse. I reached out to the apartment complex he says evicted him, but they haven't responded. Darby Sparks, 2 News Investigates.
There are resources if you or somebody you know is suffering from domestic violence. You can always go to the Safe U website. It's there on your screen. You can also call the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition. Their number is 1-800-897-LINK, L-I-N-K, 1-800-897-LINK, or the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-SAFE.